So let's start with NRHM and overview. Specifically in the view of the achievements of NRHM, it's got another 5 years extension term. But how do you really, in terms of ground realities, assess the work done so far? Are you happy with the progress made?
Well, I'm very happy. And of course, the size of the country is huge, and
Government hospitals specifically, we know that the center is doing much in terms of providing money, but the fact of the matter is that in terms of infrastructure, in terms of medical facilities, I'm specifically talking about state of government hospitals. Don't you think a lot needs to be done there?
Yeah. No, first of all, the infrastructure was inadequate. That was not in proportion to the population. Maybe whatever hospital, district hospital was constructed, some hospitals were constructed about 60 years back, has taken.
Right.
That's most important. Few of them leave, they go to other countries. You will be surprised that in United States of America, the registered number of doctors, which I happen to address them, is 61,000. And those who are not countries in Australia,
but they're better off in terms of doctor-patient ratio.
So that's why we are suffering. And then we have another problem. The problem is not in the southern part of the country and the western part of the country, because part of the two-third part of the country, that is central India.
Direction?
No, we have done, I think, in the past 4 years, because this change unless we have 150. So as a result of which, the student-teacher ratio, the earlier student-teacher ratio, that means a professor.
Okay.
So as a result of which, the number of the seats in PG have increased almost by 70%. So this is a huge, just with one stroke policy decision, the number has increased.
Intake of students obviously must have
And most of the medical colleges were new. You may have a money to put through Medical Council of India from 58 to 70.
Okay.
So it's a huge. So now you see the faculty members. So we recognize.
Getting back to the nitty-gritties of NRHM, that's from where we really started. But what are the what are the stringent steps in terms of containing the irregularities in the NRHM? Because, for example, UP NRHM scam. How does your ministry really keep a check on that?
Well, it's very difficult. I must admit it's very difficult. It's very difficult. As I said, that 50,000 instructions going on across the country, whether the on the supervision, so that I cannot do. And whether each children or few crore children have to be immunized is very difficult. Of course, we have done like immunization. We were not sure till I took over. It was haywire. So telephone of the parents of the newborn, address and phone, and we have set up a BPO in my ministry the first day.
Irregularities, sir?
The financial, again, our job is to provide the money for a specific purpose.
Of your scheme, specifically ASHA and JSSK, first step ASHA. How do you, it's been really talked about a lot in terms of this is one of the most prominent faces of NRHM, and it's really, really penetrated well as far as rural areas are concerned. But then what are you doing in terms of its expansion, specifically when we talk about hilly areas, deserts, tribal zones, and also the northeast stretch of the country?
Well, I think the Ashas are the only one who are almost in each village. And not in each village, in tribal areas, in difficult areas, in accessible areas, hard to reach areas. We don't mind. Of course, the basic purpose was to provide one ASHA on 1,000 population. But that would have given us hardly 700,000. Now we have to say now each village, and I happen to visit different parts of the country. I think this is one of the greatest.
ASHA, when we talk about it, it's beyond healthcare in terms of educating, in terms of empowering. ASHAs also, they also belong to the same area, and the skill development. But
skill development is one of the basics, and unless skill development, you can't just expect a. I was surprised.
SSK. In one of your interviews earlier, you said that In fact, it really it's revolutionized the healthcare sector. But do you really think, in terms of free entitlement reaching to the last poor, how do you really ensure the implementation bit?
JSSK, Janni Shishu Suraksha Karikram, which was launched by Mrs. Sonia Gandhi in September 2011 from Rajasthan, from Mewar district. Almost 60,000 women were there. Okay. Again, as I said in the beginning, but the one who conceives the child, he can nourish child much better way than the adopted mother. So, what is happening in the state governments, in the most of the state governments, the frequent changes of the... That is a great obstacle. There is a great obstacle.
States
no,
like
I won't like frequent change of officers, and that is also, and here you need a continuity. You need a continuity. So some states were, and this JSSK, as I said in the beginning, this is one scheme. Nowhere in the world. For that we have provided as many as 18 to 19,000 ambulances, and the JSK, that was JSY, but the JSK further provides that if the government fails to transport, they can come by private transport, and that will be reimbursed by the hospital. And from my and very active implementation.
States need to cooperate.
They have to not cooperate, they have to rise to the occasion.
The help of state, without them really coming on board with you, it's not possible. When we talk about the universal health coverage, which UP has been really talking about, really see it becoming reality, because the fact of the matter, Honorable Minister, is that we still have a very poor doctor-patient ratio. I mean, 1:2,000, if I'm
well, I won't say not only 1:2,000 in some states. I won't. So 1:2 becomes a average.
So having said universal health coverage, when it will become a reality?
So far, I have done our bit, my bit, to increase the human resource. That I said in the beginning, 1:3 for the PG, set up more medical colleges to overcome the shortage of the faculty, increase the age of the faculty, allow to convince more in their respective states, those who are well-off people, to set up more medical colleges. And unless we have almost the done, hoping at least 15-20 more medical colleges in this year within the next 2-3 months. But ultimately, this is a subject, this is not like defense.
States to work with you as well, obviously.
Now they have to keep pace with us.
Thank you very much, sir, for talking to me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure.